All right.
All right, the time's 6:01, and I call the September 22nd meeting of the Board of Selectmen to order. You want to put the flag up? We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Okay. Where's my share screen? Okay.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
To the
of
flag,
the United States of
United States of America,
and to
and
the
to
republic for which it
which
stands,
stands
one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right.
All right, the first item on the agenda, our second item is approval of minutes.
All right, I read the minutes, and on the second page, on the Beach Pond Ordinance, third line, section of Beach Pond, section A Beach Pond is what's there, and right underneath that, just a typo. It's supposed to be B designated, and you got DE. But with those two corrections, I think I make a motion to accept the minutes.
Okay, I'll second that. So the motion's been made and seconded to approve the minutes for the September 8th meeting. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
With the amendments. Opposed, hearing none, they passed. Okay. So citizens' comments, if there were none. Correspondence and announcements. Okay. We received the Troop E report for the month of August. There were 61 calls for service, 3 accidents, 3 criminal investigations, 55 non-reportable matters. And that was for August. I received a notice from TVCCA about the Alice Relief Fund. I posted the information on the website and on Facebook. And it's the Alice Relief Fund is for households that are asset limited, income constrained, employed as an economic consequence of the COVID-19 pandemic. Become more dire by the day. These are our neighbors, and they can apply for a $200 mobile card. And to do that, they would contact our local TVCCA rep. And again, this is on the website if anyone is interested. I received information about trunk or treat from the Recreation Commission. On October 31st from 6 to 7, they will be holding a drive-through trunk or treat at the Patchogue Forest and the Mount Misery Campground. They're looking for people to apply for trunkers to pass out candy. There's mandatory mask wearing and social distancing and all that stuff, but we have the application and that's on the website as well. I received a notice from Rachel Ricard with her resignation from the Tri-Centennial Committee. And that's what I have for correspondence. I did have to add one thing to the agenda and I don't even know where it is right now.
I have the email. Do you need it?
Yeah, I don't remember how much it was, that's why. I don't know what I did with that. I thought I was all organized. I had everything all in piles so I wouldn't be looking for things. It didn't work. I need to add on to the agenda a request from the Tri-Centennial Committee for money.
You want that in a motion?
Yeah.
I make a motion as such.
Okay, and I second it. So motion's been made and seconded to ask for to add the Tri-Centennial funds request to the agenda. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, hearing none, it's added. It'll be added under new business.
All right, I got the email.
Okay. All right, so on to, we have no board and committee reports, so old business. The first thing we have is the COVID compliance officer. We talked about this the past couple of meetings. I think we decided that we weren't going to appoint anyone to that. There has been a new, since the last meeting, there has been a new duty added to the COVID compliance officer, which they have the authority to issue tickets for non-compliance and mask wearing. This is something that I don't feel that we can handle on the level of the town right now. We don't have anything in place to collect fines of that nature or to she's like,
Somebody wants to join the meeting, huh?
or to issue tickets or anything like that. So yeah, I don't know what you feel about that, but I think the best we can do for that part of the compliance officer is if people have reporting of non-compliance, contact the state police. They're the ones that are in our jurisdiction that have the authority to issue tickets and collect fines. So, and as far as the COVID compliance officer's other duties, that was the original duty, which was to make sure that businesses that aren't restaurants and hairdressers, because they're under Uncas Health, are complying with the mandates. And we had discussed that we would do that through a policy. That again, everything else keeps coming up and we still haven't gotten to that yet, but we'll carry that on to the next meeting too. So unless you have anything else to add to that, Ron?
I don't know.
Okay. So then we'll move on to the no wake ordinance. For the proposed ordinance for a no wake zone. We didn't get any correspondence from residents about that. I think that for the safety of the people on the pond, I am for putting together a no wake ordinance for the area of Beach Pond that goes from the boat launch all the way down to the dam. There is a section of that area that already is a no wake zone and it's very narrow there. So I think that's something that we could put for safety of people on the pond. It would give a designated area for kayaking and swimming, that we wouldn't have to be worried about jet skis and fast boats.
I agree completely.
Okay. So DEP has worked with other towns for a no wake zone area and they've offered to help with the ordinance for that. So I will contact them and have them help me put something together. And we'll bring it up again.
Good.
The next thing is the quiet zone ordinance. That's something that we didn't get. I don't want to put anything like that up unless a resident suggests that, and I haven't heard anything. So I'm fine for tabling that one.
I'm fine with that.
Okay. So we can table that one unless it comes up that that's something that's really wanted. All right. The beach pond drawdown request. I did not put in a request for this year for multiple reasons. One being that there wasn't going to be enough time for anyone to prepare to do any work at all. And the second was the drought. The water's really low right now, and I don't know if they would, I don't think it's good to go lower on it during a drought. I have been in communication with DEP about a deep drawdown in the future, meaning next year or the following year. And this would be, if this deep drawdown happens, we had our first meeting last week, the possibility of having a drawdown higher than 6 feet is not, it's not going to happen higher than 6 feet. But they are willing to discuss 4 to 5 feet. And it would be, the decision, if it's approved, would be enough time for residents to get permits, hire contractors, do what they need to do for repairs. And the likelihood of having another deep drawdown anytime soon after that, it probably wouldn't happen again for another 10 or 10 years. But just to get one right now would be good. They also sent me some information about natural, instead of using retaining walls, like more of a natural way to ease into the water. So I'm gonna post that for residents as well. And they also wanted to know, I'm meeting with them in January to go back to the discussion. They want to know how many people have properties on the pond and how many of those people have retaining walls. So just wanted to let everyone know that we are in discussions and there won't be one this year. I don't know if you have any questions, Ron.
No, nothing whatsoever.
Okay. So that's the drawdown. Special event policy. All right. We talked about this last year and then things got crazy and it sat. But we're bringing it back up. What I passed out for review is an model application and a policy that's in works. I've been talking to the attorney. I sent this to him for review so far and for any advice and to see if there was something that they had that we could use as well. So this, and the attorney also said that the best way to do this would be to have an ordinance first and then mention the policy in the ordinance and then have the policy as a working document that can be changed easier than an ordinance. So I've been working on this special event permit application and the policy that it's not meant to stop events or limit the amount of people at events. This is to make sure that events are done safely. And by safely, I mean, as the traffic authority, we're responsible to make sure that the town roads are safe. That means that people aren't parking on the roads, holding up traffic, that if people are walking on the roads to get from one parking area to an event or from a parking area to, if they're on the road, that they're going to be safely on the road and not in danger of being hit. And also, this policy is a benefit for the fire department and the fire marshal and the EMT, because depending on the size of an event, they might have to have EMT there. We should have a heads up because our EMT is the one that's going to respond. And if they're responding to an event, then they won't be able to respond to residents, or not that they won't be able to, but there's a that's not more of being busier. Well, that just sounded weird, but And we also want to make sure that things are zoned right. That the police are notified if it's gonna, again, be traffic on a state road, or some events get large enough where there needs to be police present. So all of this is just to make sure that everything's safe. So this is for review, input. We'll bring it up again at another meeting. Jody's actually been working with me on this too. The fire marshal also has input to make sure that things are done safely to large events. And that's the policy. I don't know if you have any questions or.
Nope, like you say, we'll discuss it more and.
Yeah. Because some of the things to think about are, as far as the number of vehicles go, I'm leaning more to take that line out of it because it's hard. That's a hard thing to figure out. And was also thinking of bringing the 250 up to 300 people. So those are some things to think about for next time.
All right.
That's that. Next is board and commission meeting policy. All right. So this is for a COVID meeting policy. Everything's COVID now, so I didn't even add it to that. But this is to discuss how meetings would be during the times of COVID. And the meeting room usage is also for times of COVID. We have talked about all of these before. So to start with, what I passed out was the current policy we have for meetings during COVID, which is for Zoom meetings. So the current policy is how we do, we passed it or it was put out in April, and it just goes through how we do the Zoom meetings. This is how we've been having meetings. Now, with things opening up more right now, there have been requests for boards and commissions want to have meetings in person, or some sort of, or a hybrid of meetings. Now, where things get tricky is we currently have the state statutes which define meetings in person. And a meeting in person is a public meeting, so there can be no set, because it's a public meeting, there can be no set limit on the number of people at the meeting. So you can't say, I'm having a public meeting at the town hall, but only 10 people can come, because that's all we can put in there safely. And if you can't say that. So if 12 people show up, you can't tell those 2 people you can't come to the meeting, because that violates state statutes. That meeting would have to be canceled, rescheduled, moved to a Zoom meeting or something else. So that's where we're struggling with moving to fully public meetings. We can still do the Zoom meetings. There's certain things that we have to follow with the Zoom meeting, which is what we've been doing, the live streaming on YouTube. It's how we've been doing it. The other thing with fully public meetings too is you can't have someone say, even if they're on the board or just a public person going to the meeting, if they're not comfortable or high risk and can't be around other people, you can't tell them they have to or they can't be at the meeting. So you have to give them the option of being remote. So that's another thing to think about going to full meetings. So another option is a hybrid meeting. There hasn't been anything released from the state on guidance on how to do a hybrid meeting. We've kind of had hybrid meetings for some boards and commissions. Inland Wetlands has, ZBA has. These work when you have small number of people at the meetings. Like I think for ZBA, there were 4 of us. For Inland Wetlands, there might have been, I don't know, 5 or 6 maybe. And everyone's spaced out, wearing masks. There are meetings that are, they're not highly attended. They're not in the like past history of being highly attended. So they worked. The only problem is if there's more people, it can be harder to hear them because we've done hybrid, but we've listed them as a Zoom meeting. So they're available during Zoom. So people can still watch live stream. They can still call in. So we call it a Zoom meeting. It can be challenging with our technology that we currently have to hear everyone doing it this way because we're doing it with the laptop. That's risky too, because if people can't hear, especially people that are part of the board or committee because they're participating via Zoom, it could make the meeting challenging. So that's where we are with the meetings. We need to decide if we want to change our current policy by doing Zoom, if we want to allow some boards and commissions to meet in person, or what we want to do. As far as the technology goes, I've been checking with other towns. I received some estimates from the cost of the different types of services that are out there. If we did it for the town hall meeting room, we would also want to do it for the Board of Ed meeting room because they're going to need the same technology for their meetings. The prices range from, for one room, about $5,000 to, I think the price went all the way up to like 23,000 for the equipment.
23,000 per room?
I think this one was for both, for 2 rooms. And these include, depends on what kind of system you do. They have a Zoom, like for instance, there's a Zoom one and you get like a board. This one was for, oh, this was the confusing one because it said 1, but there were 2 rooms. So I don't know how. But the Zoom one is like almost $18,000. So we're looking at a big, and that's for 2 rooms. So we would have to decide which form of tech. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about 6 different technologies on the list that I have. So we just have to figure out which one would work best for us. I think that these kind of meetings are probably going to be, from now on, they'll be like this. So I think it's worth investing in. We're just going to have to do some more research to figure out which way we want to do it. That would work for we still haven't figured out how to do a town meeting, which if we have ordinances to pass, we're gonna have to figure that one out. I've talked to other towns that have done it and it's possible. It's just very time consuming and they've done them all virtually, so. I don't know if you have any thoughts on anything.
No, nothing right that I come up with right now. I'll think of something, don't worry, before I see you.
But just to the meeting room usage, like links into this. The state sent out a guidance. Everything is changing constantly. This has been a conversation that all the towns are having. The state's continuously sending out things. I just received on the 14th, so that was what, last week? A notice that says that pretty much says that the state was saying that they didn't tell people they couldn't have meetings in person, but if you have a meeting in person, you have to make sure that you're taking into consideration people that are in high risk, that are, what if people show up and you can't fit them? And it talks about number of people at meetings. Everyone thought that 25 was the number. It's not the number if your room can't fit 25 people safely. Obviously, our meeting room is small. So what the state says is capacity limits should act as useful guides to municipal and other governmental leaders to determine whether a planned meeting will present risks that require their unified command to set up with safer alternatives that limit in-person interaction of large numbers. So considering how small our meeting room is, I've spoken to our fire marshal to see what is also our emergency management director, part of our unified command, what he thought safely with the 6 feet apart and the size of the room. So we did the math and we came to the number of 10. So 10 people can safely hold a meeting in the meeting room. So we need to figure out if that's something, if we want to allow boards and committees to use the meeting room for meetings of 10 people, and how we would do that. So I don't know if you have anything about that.
No, I got to look at the meeting room. I mean,
Yeah. This is nothing that's going to get decided right now. These are all things, whatever we put together has to be approved by our unified command, which would be the Board of Selectmen. We're going to check with our legal counsel to make sure we're following everything with our emergency management director and also through Uncas Health to make sure we're doing everything safely too. So.
That's the best way. Find out for sure.
Yep. One of the other options is I was talking to Russell Gray about using the Grange Hall. The Grange Hall can handle more than 10 people, but their limit's 25. They can't do every meeting. Every board and commission can't meet there. They use the hall for a lot of things. The one board that I specifically asked about that can borderline more than 10 people is planning and zoning. So if we decide there is the option of the Grange Hall for planning and zoning meetings. One of the things with that is there will be heat costs when it gets colder that will have to be covered, and that would come out of their budget line.
Oh,
If we choose that way.
All right, I'm still gonna check over the Baptist church. If I remember tomorrow morning, I'll go over there and just see how much room they have.
Yeah, and you need to find out if they are opening to the public too. The firehouse is not opening to the public, and the school is not opening to the public, so.
Yeah, I know those two are closed. That's why I thought, maybe they're at the Baptist church, or like you say, the Grange is another one, but it doesn't hurt to ask.
Right, okay, that works. So that's where we are with that. And like I said, things are changing constantly. So I'll try something different than that tomorrow. And Skip couldn't be here tonight. I want him to review all these and have a say in things too.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so moving on. New business, the dairy farm abatement. We received one so far from Gallup. So we just have to approve these.
It's all filled out. I have both, all the stuff filled out here, and I didn't know that had to be filled out every year. At least I don't remember that, but.
Yep, it has to be filled out every year. So I sent, you have last year's and this year's for the same part. They're both for the Gallup farms. So we just have to approve the one for this year, but there's both there so we could see if anything was different.
Yeah.
I did notice one thing different, and I don't know if it's something that we want to ask him about before we approve it. This year they added the sawmill to it to be abated, and we're only supposed to use buildings that are for the dairy farm operation. So I don't know, and it wasn't added last year. So I don't know if there was a change in use of that, or if the sawmill is part of the dairy farm operations, or if it's something else. I don't know if we wanted to ask him that or take it off or what.
It's only $100,000 exemption, right?
I don't even think it comes to that much. But
Tracy, I'll talk about it with, and find out. We'll check.
it's just that whatever we do we have to be consistent with other applications too. So we just want to make sure that we're being consistent. That's all.
All right. We'll look at it more and discuss it. And if I have to, I'll have to go talk to Byron. But at least we have the application in.
Yeah. And we have to approve it as a board.
Can't hear you, Tracy.
Oh, sorry. We have to approve it as a board too. So, and we haven't received the other one yet either. So we do.
When do they have to be approved by?
They have to be turned in by October 1st, but I don't know exactly when they have to be approved by, because I told Chandler that if we got this was our last meeting, that we would approve the other one at the next meeting, and that he was fine with that. So, because of the first meeting in October. So we can approve them both at the next meeting, or we can have a special meeting and approve them, because it's not hard to do a special meeting for that. So.
Yeah, that'll be good.
Okay. So we'll do that. All right, snow plow bids. We received one sand bid and 1 snowplow bid for Denison Hill. They're both in envelope. This one is the snowplow bid. It's from AM Sealers and it's for Denison Hill Road. It's plow and charged every 3 inches, $200 for 1,200 feet of roadway from AM Sealers. So I just need a motion to,
I make a motion, we accept it.
okay. So I'll second that, and the motion's been made, excuse me, and seconded, the snowplow bid for AM Sealer. Excuse me, all in
All in-
favor, say aye.
Yep. Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, that bid is, all right, now we have our 1 bid for sand. Okay, so the bid for sand for the 2020 to 2021 winter season is from Doris Desjardins Sand and Gravel. And it is for $12 per yard.
That's what it's been for the past few years. I make a motion, we accept it. We get good sand from them and good service.
Okay, so I'll second that. So the motion's been made and seconded to approve the sand bid for $12 a yard from Desjardins Sand and Gravel. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, hearing none, that's been approved. All right, moving along. The next is the hiring procedure for, oh, I left those upstairs too. For the building office and land use secretary and general office assistant, which is 1 position. Julie, how many did we receive?
I think there was 22 applications that I got actual applications, and then there was another 30 from Facebook alone. So
Yeah,
over 50.
Wow.
yeah. So we need to figure out what our hiring procedure is going to be. This position includes working for the building and land use office. So we figured we would have offer inland wetlands, planning and zoning, Peter, Julie, and myself or someone else from the town hall to review the applications. You can review them too if you want. Review them and come up with, I think maybe 6 people to call for interview and to sit in on the interviews and participate in the hiring process. So I don't know if you have any opinions on that or.
That's fine with me. I'm amazed that you got that many applications.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's definitely a well-needed position right now because we've been treading water in the town hall right now. So I think that would be what we'll do for the process.
Yep, I'm all for it.
Okay. All right. So unless you have anything else, I thought that was going to be
Tri-Centennial
it.
money.
Oh, yeah.
Tri-Centennial.
All right. You have the,
Yeah, it's 1450.
okay, so there's a request from the Tri-Centennial Committee for
You
14.
want me to read it?
Yeah, it's for calendars. Are they fundraising calendars?
Yes. You want me to read the email?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Hang on. Tri-Centennial Committee is planning on having a calendar fundraiser. The calendars will have pictures from the town We want to purchase 200 from Impact Design, who has been working with the committee. The cost will be $1,450. It's almost ready to go to print. So we'll be able to submit an invoice as soon as we're able to get it, but right now we're looking for the okay to go forward.
Okay.
So we will have them available next month.
And they have the funds in there.
Their
account.
money, yeah.
Yep. Okay.
I make a motion, we pay it. Or we
All
give them the money to pay it.
Yep. I'll second that. So the motion's been made and seconded to approve the request for was 1,000, how much?
450.
$1,450 to cover the cost of the fundraising calendars. All approved, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Hearing none. It's a. All right. I think that's all I have. I don't know. Do you have anything, Ron?
Nope, I make a motion to adjourn.
All right. I'll second that. So a motion's been made and seconded to adjourn. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Hearing no opposed, hearing none, adjourned.
All right, thank you. Excellent
Thank you.
job, ladies.
Thank you.
Good
night.
night.
Good night.
Good night.